I don't need this open just yet.
I'm weak. Well, hey, hey, well-read baddies. Welcome back to another episode of She Well Read. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
And today has been a lot. We've been moving today and grooving.
Don't we look great?
I still have my photo shoot makeup off. Meanwhile, yours is
I took a nap. And
I did too, though.
Oh.
But I laid like this, very much giving Sleeping Beauty. Yeah.
I aspire to be like you.
Well, I was like, well, we're recording later and I'm going to put on makeup for that. So might as well just keep the same makeup on.
Yeah.
But you said, I'm taking this off right now.
It didn't happen. It would have been nice, but I was like, nah, it's a toned down look for podcasting.
Oh, I'm weak. All right. I'm
going to let you carry with your face.
I'm trying.
I'm going to come through with the words.
Period. Okay. But today, for Shout Out Corner, follow us everywhere at She Well Read. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us comments on the videos. That really makes our day and really lets us know that we're doing something right, or you enjoyed the conversation that we're having, or maybe you don't enjoy the conversation that we're having, and you want to contribute to that or give your opinion. So leave your comments down on the YouTube channel. Scary stories, we're still accepting those. And by the time this airs, we're going to be in spooky season.
It feels kind of spooky out here.
It does. Have you heard that TikTok sound? Winds in the east. Something's coming. No. It's from Mary Poppins.
Ooh, I do know ominous. That. I know Mary Poppins.
Yeah. But if I send it to you, you probably know what I was talking about.
Maybe.
Anyways, off topic. Okay, but today we're going to introduce our sponsors and affiliates really quick. I know we've been talking about them a lot. The first one, we have Libro FM, which if you've heard us talk about Bookshop, it's basically the audiobook version of Bookshop, where they support online independent bookstores and I think in-person bookstores too, like brick and mortars do audiobooks too, so they support them as well. But with our code SheWellRead, you can get a free audiobook when you start a new monthly Libro FM membership, which their memberships are $14.99 a month. So be sure to check that out. Link in our bio.
Love it.
We also have an affiliate with Cure. They're like hydration packets, kind of similar to Liquid IV. And you can get 20% off your first order with code SheWellRead20. So check them out. Next, we have Be Rooted, which we actually have love that product placement. They are a Black-owned, and they were actually the first Black-owned stationery company at Target, which is huge. Huge. So you can find them at Target, and you can shop with them online at berootedco.com. And if you use code SheWellRead, you can get 15% off your order. And also, we have a partnership with Basic, a Basic shop. It is in downtown Birmingham. They also have an online storefront. They are a sustainable clothing store. We love everybody at Basic. They were a sponsor last season. And you can get 15% off with Hey Girl 15. I know, right? With an exclamation mark. So we'll have all of these linked in our bio and in the show notes, because I might have said something wrong. So just double check me on the codes. Most of them was She Well Read something or She Well Read. But yeah, we're just really excited to be partnering with these brands and having affiliate links and whatnot. It helps our show run. So we really need that. If you would like to still be a partner on the show, we are still accepting partnerships. So email us at shewellread@gmail.com for more information. Or you can go to the website too and click partners.
Yeah.
And our deck is on there. Yeah. So you could even do that as well.
Or the link in any of our bios.
Yeah. The link on
Partner with us.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, coffee break. So I had something else here on this point, but I switched it because I watched this TikTok before I got here.
Oh.
And what I said 2-3 episodes ago on a minisode when Joe announced student loan forgiveness was that these Republicans in these states are going to try to sue this shit and it might not happen. And guess what?
It happened?
It happened. 6 Republican states are federally suing the government and the Biden administration on student loan forgiveness, talking about it's going to negatively affect the state itself's economy because of it.
How? In a good way or a bad?
In a bad way.
I mean, I guess I assumed, but like
that just reminded me of Cassie. In a good way or a bad way? Bitch, you better be joking. Anyway, side note. But yeah, so I don't know if you knew this or like had been hearing about it, but there are some states like where student loan forgiveness would be taxed. Like because I know even if you like pay off your loans, like there's still a tax you have to pay on it federally and on the state level in some states. But most states we're talking about, they were just going to waive the tax. But I guess I haven't done a whole lot of research on it. I'm actually going to include the TikTok in our show notes because Lisa, who is the TikToker who I heard it from, she's actually like a news girly and reports a lot of news and media like unbiasedly, which I love, on TikTok. So I keep up with her and follow her. So I'll link that in the show notes. But yeah, so basically what this could do, a federal judge could pause the whole, like, we're kind of waiting on the applications to come out. And they were saying it's going to come out early October. Well, if the judge puts a pause because of these pending lawsuits, then that's not going to happen. And so it's really just a we gonna see now, because it could now not happen. But Biden and I think education department, they're like, no, we can, this is constitutional, we can do this, so you have no case. So we'll see. We gonna see. We gonna save this under we gonna see.
I need a Christmas miracle.
Literally. Because
Thank it, Jesus. Take it.
Oh my goodness. All right. Next, which is funny because we're talking about, I didn't even realize it. We're talking about an ex-husband and wife duo today. I had a point on the wife and you had a point on the husband.
Wow. Would you look at that? Damn.
Okay. So Kim K is starting a podcast.
I heard this.
I heard on She Podcast.
I don't know how I feel, but everyone's doing it, so I guess she had to hop on the trend.
But the thing is, there are a lot of celebrities who I'm like, why do you have a show? Mm-hmm. Like, not everybody needs to be a podcaster.
Well, everybody doesn't need a makeup brand, but here we are.
Facts. But the premise of her podcast actually sounds decent and something that I would actually probably listen to.
It did sound cool.
So basically it's about her, everybody knows that she's trying to become a lawyer, and she's actually been doing a lot in that like world.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she has.
Yeah, I was about to say, girl, yeah, where you been? She's been trying to get everybody out of jail. She said, you get out of jail, you get out of jail, you get out of jail. You don't have the death penalty anymore, which, I mean, it's been really good. And so basically that's what her show is going to be about, is reform and all of that good stuff. So I'm actually kind of excited to listen.
My expectations are on the floor, but I hope it's great.
Me too. Yeah. Because, I like stopped standing the Kardashians.
I had to
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I was kind of all up in their business growing up, but.
No, we had Kardashian Sundays in college, literally.
That's about when we stopped fucking with them.
Yeah, it is. And we were like, oh my gosh, we both like that guy. And then we were like, oh, never mind. They kind of suck.
They suck. Yeah.
Bible. So I guess we can stay tuned for that. I'm gonna link the article for that as well in the show notes. And next, that's you
and Kanye reading. Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
I watched the video.
Okay, so Kanye says he doesn't read and he just talks.
Yeah. And
that makes complete sense to me. Like, when he said that, I was like, oh. So I just wanted to come on here and ask, do y'all know anyone like this? Ooh. Where they think they're so above it all and smart and, I don't know. I just feel like if you are only talking to the 1%, like, just because they're the wealthiest people in the world, and like, that's, I guess, our world's way of valuing people.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. Like, you're talking to, like, these really successful people, like, fantastic. But what happened to, I think the, like, benefit of reading is getting to hear different perspectives from different people who have have never experienced anything like you, and you're actually like time traveling into their world, or just physically, even if they're in 2022, they could be on the other side of the world and have such a whole different life experience, and you could learn something from that. But instead, you're talking to like this very small niche of people. And I don't know, it just like made me think about like how out of whack his opinions probably are, which sometimes we hear them and they are
not even
crazy.
Sometimes. It's like 90% of them at this point.
He does not filter. You're right. Yeah. It's very, I don't know. He's a very passionate person, and I think he's a genius creatively. Yeah. So it's like, I guess everyone can't be well-rounded for every single thing. But I felt like it hurt me in my soul because Black people do read. And we're trying to break the stigma.
Right.
And so when I hear something like that where it's just like...
he's like promoting that you don't have to read.
Yeah, people love to like look at one of us and just the monolith thing. They look at us as a monolith. So like that just went to support that theory. Because he's very known. Yeah.
And not only that, but even to his fans and his followers, especially because he does have a younger fan base. Like he has a mix, I feel, but there are a lot of younger. He goes towards a younger audience, and so to hear them be like, "Oh, well, Kanye said I don't have to read," which again is that thing of filtering what you hear. Like, we're fans of Kanye creatively, but we heard that and we're like, "Wait, no.
You're wrong.
Hold up, wait a minute, no, this ain't it." So I don't know, but I did like the YouTuber, and her name is like slipping my mind right now, but I'll leave a link to the video in the show notes.
Yeah. Kimberly Nicole Foster.
Okay. Period.
I love her.
I never heard of her or seen her before, and I really enjoyed this video. But I like that she talked about soundbite culture.
Ooh.
Because I don't know if you've seen on TikTok right now or have heard of Michaela Nagira. I hope I said her last name right.
So.
I actually follow her on TikTok, and I've followed her since early on in her TikTok career, like in 2020. And she's a makeup guru, makeup artist, and she's blown up on TikTok. Like, she has 13.5 million followers.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay.
And she is very open about her mental health, and she struggles with an eating disorder and her weight fluctuation. Like, she is just a very open book. She has faced some criticism in the past on a few issues that I agree with. I'm like, But again, it's like, we're human, we're not perfect.
That's
like,
what happens.
It's what happens.
Yeah.
But this was basically... There's a clip going around, an audio clip of her being like, I just got off of work. It's 5:19. Try being an influencer for a day. It's not easy. It's hard. Da 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 da. And people were like, oh yeah, it must be so hard getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for a brand TikTok shoot and shooting TikTok videos all day and da 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 da.
Yeah.
But like, it was just a clip of a whole video where she's responding to a troll.
Oh.
Saying, I forgot what they said, but she's basically like,
it was like,
you don't know me, like, you don't understand the job that I do as an influencer, which for someone who struggles with mental health like she does, you get criticized being an influencer. Like, it's not all sunshine and roses. Like, people come at you hard.
People are really mean.
And that can really mess up your mental health, which she can get the resources to fight that. But it's that thing of, you can be in therapy all day long, but it doesn't mean that that stuff doesn't hurt or still affect you to some degree. You know what I mean? So people just took that clip and ran with it. And she's also very young. Like, this was 2 years ago. She was probably 20 when she made that.
Wow.
And she used to work in retail. Like, we watched her. She worked at Ulta and then quit.
Oh, wow.
When she like got, pretty popular.
Oh, she's a baby.
Yeah. So it's also the mindset of like, some people are like, you can't go after her the way they're going after her because they're bullying her at this point. Like, that's what it's become. And they're like, yes, being an influencer, and some influencers have, come out and said this, it's not hard. Like, it's not hard in comparison to like a lot of 9-to-5 jobs, but it's just a different type of struggle.
It's a different kind of hard. And I feel like it's like pros and cons. Like, you may get to like profit in a way off your influencer status by like receiving gifts and being in pretty locations because it's part of the job, and wearing cute clothes all the time, and so your life looks perfect. But my thing is, like, they have no work-life balance because their job is to monetize everything that they do.
Yeah.
And so we honestly, as 9-to-5 people, have privilege in a way because we can log off and it's not our company at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's not our livelihoods at the end of the day. Which I still, and some people might argue that even with a 9-to-5, yeah, you log off, but sometimes you're still thinking about work, especially depending on like what role you have at a company. Like if you're a manager or something like that, like maybe yes, you log off, but you know, we even as 9-to-5ers have a struggle sometimes with work-life balance, especially if you're a workaholic. But still, to your point of like, because that's why I personally stopped posting on TikTok so much, because we already do a lot of content for She Well Read, that it was just so much, and I was like, I've gotta like cut this and like focus on the one, because it is that thing of like, oh, I'm going to the nail shop today, let me blog a day in my life, or like, you know what I mean, like you're constantly thinking about it. So I agree with you. But yeah, just I hate the soundbite culture of you take a clip of what somebody says and you take it out of context and it becomes this whole thing, and you try to cancel them. And I already don't fuck with cancel culture, like, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
But anywho, all of that to say, I really liked her insight on the video, and y'all please don't listen to Kanye. Please read.
Yeah.
Like, read.
Or
reading is
listen
power.
to people that read.
Or listen to people.
Audiobooks.
Something. Magazines, like reading.
You don't have to physically read.
Right.
Scan the words and sound. You know what I mean? You don't have to do it like manually. There's so many other ways. You can even read someone's thoughts on something you want to read.
An opinion article or something. Yeah, like, and I think that's what we try to promote. Like reading, like this is not the extent of reading.
Yes.
It's a lot more than this. And that's why when we say being well read, it's not just this. It's being well read and well rounded in different topics and immersing yourself in these things. And that's the whole point of reading.
Yeah. We're here for
all of it.
All of that stuff. So anyway. Crazy.
Yeah. Yes. All right, so let's get into the chapter. And this chapter, well, I keep saying chapter when really it's essay. I should really start saying essay.
To this.
I know, we're on page 107 and we're still not used to it. We're like not halfway, but we're a quarter way through.
We've only gone 3 in though, so
that's true.
I'm not used to it yet, but maybe next week I'll say essay.
Essay. It's an essay. It's an essay. It's an essay. We're reading essays. Okay, so this essay is entitled #Corin Bay. And we are deep diving into 2020 quarantine, take you back there. And Phoebe is quarantining with British baekoff, who is like her person, her man's love of her
lifelong soulmate,
her home. I was like, oh.
I cried.
Not you cried.
I didn't cry.
Oh, I figuratively cried.
Figuratively cried at the end. I shed a tear because I was like, that hit me.
I'm so weak. But she literally opens it up with talking about pooping in front of your significant other, which I've always thought to be a very funny concept of like when people are like, if you can poop and fart in front of your significant other, like y'all are in it. Yeah. Which I'm still like, no, it's still gross at the end of the day. But I mean, I guess like, I don't know.
There's this part on the first page of the chapter that I thought was so funny.
The Oprah Book Club part?
That's hilarious. She loves referencing. She's like manifesting this. I gotta figure out if she got added to the list.
I think it would have been a sticker. Well, it could still be a thing. So Oprah? Anywho, continue with your point.
At any time?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you still got a chance. Here we go. Where does she say it? Oh God.
I'm weak.
Y'all are just okay. I mean, I guess it's the whole first paragraph, really. I'm trying to get a specific section, but she's basically like, unless you do mortifying things, accidentally or not, that make your partner pull a Walter White and get a burner phone so they can create a Raya dating profile to search for fresh peen or vagine, then frankly, you aren't in a relationship. Y'all are just comrades who are sexting and passing time like prisoners in Litchfield, hoping to get released early on good behavior. But a relationship, that, my friends, is among other things a compilation of inside jokes and annoyances, romantic moments, and unforeseen problems. And most important, the sobering reality that no one else in the world would put up with your specific brand of nonsense quite the way your partner does.
And it's so funny the way she said that, the specific brand of nonsense, because, I'm a, no take shit type of bitch.
Yes.
But I just know one day when I get a man, he's going to have something that I'm like, normally I would not put up with this, but because you are you, I'm gonna put up with it, I guess.
I guess I love you.
Oh, whatever.
Oh my God, no, but the pooping thing, like, have you ever sharted in front of someone?
Oh yes, this is welcome to Poopgate 2020, everybody. Basically, she tells us the story of this time where she's walking in her living room and I forgot what she had eaten, but in the compilation.
They were in quarantine. So it's just a lot of nonsense.
Mm-hmm. And she walks past British Baekoff and sharts. And he was like, "Did you just shart yourself?" And she's like, "No." And proceeds to go to the bathroom.
She tries to just weasel her way out. Like, no, nothing happened.
Not at all.
Did you hear something? I
didn't.
Girl, I'm trying to think of when I feel like I have. I'm just trying to think
Sharted?
of a specific time. Yeah.
In front of your significant other?
Well, no, but yes, I think I did in front of my ex.
Damn, how was that? Was it like Phoebe? Did you play it off, or did you were like, I just sharted?
I feel like I just was honest because I can't keep a secret.
You can't at all. Even if you try, it's so cute.
Oh God. It's yeah, but honestly, tummy issues, I do get your struggles.
I think we all have a little bit of tummy issues.
All right, in this economy.
Not in this economy. But yeah, so also she talks about in the beginning of quarantine and just kind of, we're talking about poop. And she talks about how not everybody is clean and sanitary. And she brings up in the very long footnote that was hilarious. This one time she went to a public restroom with this woman that she knew very well. And when she went to go wash her hands, she went to go leave the restroom. The woman did, not Phoebe. And she was like this funny haha, but funny ew. Was like, "Oh, did you forget to wash your hands?"
She gave her an out.
She really because even if I was that woman and I knew I don't.
But it's making her uncomfortable.
Right. I would have been like, slip my mind.
Right. Just pretend to care. At least whip the Germex out. In this economy.
In this coronavirus. But no. She was like, I just peed.
You're not a dude.
Even them, I want them to wash their hands.
They don't.
I know they don't, and it's fucking disgusting. But if you enter a bathroom, even just to I may be extreme. Even just to touch up your face or something, I'm still gonna wash my hands before I even touch up my face.
Yeah.
Because you've been out doing who knows what, touching who knows what, and then you touch your wash them.
Wash them.
It's not that hard.
Well, it does dry your skin out in the winter.
Put a little lotion in your bag.
Oh, yeah. There's just really easy, simple ways to fix that ashiness if you deal with it. But there's just no excuse, especially in a pandemic.
Well, that's what her point was. She was like, because this was pre-pandemic. She was like, I know y'all were acting like this pre-pandemic.
Oh, God.
What in the hell makes you think that now that they're like, oh, sanitize, wash your hands, wear masks, that y'all are going to follow directions?
And we didn't.
A lot didn't. But she's basically leading up to how she got stuck inside with Corin Bay and how they are both workaholics, and he like works with these bands and she's on tour for her comedy tour. And so they're not together that often, and when they are, they're still like kind of being workaholics and like working to some degree. So this was the very first time that they had to like sit down and be in each other's presence for this significant amount of time, unknown significant amount of time. Because if you remember, if you remember beginning pandemic,
I thought we had no idea. Never gonna end.
I thought we were gonna be stuck in the house for a year. Like stuck in the house.
Oh, stuck.
Yeah. Like how they had like curfews and stuff.
I could have seen that though.
We probably should have been stuck in the house longer, but you know, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, so transitioning into this, you know, living with your partner full time, seeing each other on the regular. And really also how quarantine, I feel like what she was saying was like quarantine made us sit down and like kind of reflect.
No, it did. We were almost like so bored we had to look around.
Yeah.
And a lot of couples didn't survive the pandemic.
They either didn't survive or they were like my parents and had a baby.
Oh, yeah. The pandemic babies.
They're built different.
Really?
Every single one of them.
What do you mean?
Like some of them were like, I don't know, their development was way more progressed than like a typical baby.
Really?
Some of them. Is wild. It was a whole thing.
Well, I guess we'll see the studies 20 years down the road. No, but this seems difficult. I don't think I would. It's not like ideal to do it the way they did it. So I was nervous reading the chapter.
Like, ooh, are they gonna make it? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, because just last chapter, she was like unsure about if he was gonna stay with her with the whole kids thing. So I was like, oh God, like what's going on here? But it seems like honestly all the time that they spent together forced them to drop their whatever guard they had up or wall.
Yeah.
She mentions like the fact that they always would meet up in these extravagant, exotic type locations that really weren't real life. And being in New York in the pandemic, there literally was nothing to do except be inside.
Because they were in a hot spot. Yeah.
Which, it was crazy. So I'm glad she did stay inside.
Right. And they
made the right call, Phoebe.
Right. They were both like, no one is in or out besides us.
Yeah. And so it really was just them 24/7. However long, 3, 2, 6, however
many days it was.
However many days it was. And the fact that it made them even closer, I think that was such a good sign, but so beautiful too.
Yeah, and you also made me think of the point of, because you were like, oh, they just went through this hurdle, like, and this is another hurdle. But I feel like that's relationships. And if you're not going through those hurdles, to see how you adapt to the other person in that environment. And I feel like it also shows you, can I deal with this long term?
Yeah.
Depending on what the situation is.
Yeah, that's true. And it's almost like I'd rather get it out the way quicker than spread it out.
Right.
And not know what I don't know.
Right. Like there's something from my dad that I take where he's like, you should spend a full season with somebody at least before you decide like, okay, how serious do I want to be? Because then you've seen them kind of like in all, not just always.
One season?
Like seasons as in like a full year.
Oh. So 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the seasons. But like one time.
Oh, okay.
One round.
That seems fair. I was about to say just one season because summer's great for me. But like,
it's just like
catch me in the fall.
Depressed girl fall though.
Sad girl vibes. It's like you got a whole different bitch in the wintertime. Like,
I'm so weak. That reminds me. You know, I watched Married at First Sight.
Oh my god.
There was this girl. She was like, "You've never seen summer, Rachel, though." She's a teacher and like off in the summer. She's like, I'm a whole different bitch.
No, but it'd be like that.
It'd be like that sometimes. So,
and I feel like I'm personally like an onion. So I totally
Layers.
related to her when she's like,
all right, Shrek.
when it's like, yeah, it's like, you know me to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to know a little bit more.
And a little
bit more. And then, you know, I may get nervous and stay in this spot for a little bit and be like, oh my God, I'm so exposed. Like, I don't know where this is going. And then something dramatic might happen and you get to see a little bit more of like how I respond in this type of situation.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get the full me.
The full picture.
And like she said, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then at that point, it's like, you in or out, boo? Because
in and out.
You done seen it
in
all.
In and out.
How you feeling? What's
How we doing up there? Oh my gosh. So yeah. And also how they were lovers before they were friends.
Yeah.
That point. I love because, so y'all, Samara and I have a shared Google Doc where we write all of our notes for when we're in the chapter, like reading and stuff. And I saw you were in the doc when I was in the doc writing notes. So I know this is your note. So I'm going to let you talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off of that, I feel like I heard something in a podcast last week, Black Girl Flow podcast. Lex said something that really stood out to me. She said, I'm loving to be heartbroken.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to that episode. Wait a minute. Let me know.
I think it was grass is always greener, but it may have been something about relationships.
Okay.
It's
Tell
one of
me
the
more.
newer ones. But she was like, I want to, if I'm in that situation where I can see a future with this person, I want to be able, if it doesn't work out, to look back and be like, I gave 100% of myself. I didn't hold anything back. And I was vulnerable with this person in a way that scared me and pushed me and challenged me. And first of all, I feel like that's how you get that real, like she talks about, soulmate, ride or die type of love, is when you break the walls down that you have up of like, oh, I have to be, she talks about being a cool, funny chick. And she wants her partner to see her as this person.
Yeah.
And I get that. I totally feel like you still want to be chill and nonchalant and relaxed, and like there was that whole anti-cool girl movement.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much that energy of like, actually I care a lot and I have feelings and I cry and
I'm
you
a
know
human
what I
being.
mean? I'm a human being. I'm not a robot.
Yeah.
And so it just, I was like, yes, because if you're not getting heartbroken, you're not doing it right. You're not giving your full self. If you're like 1 foot in, 1 foot like looking around to see if there's somebody better, like I feel like that's not being 100% in.
Yeah, it's not. And I think it's because, like you said, we want them to see us a certain way. But at some point, like, you know, in your hearts of hearts, because obviously I've not been in a relationship, but I've been dating. And it's like you put up this, like, this person, this image of you.
Yeah.
And kind of like the layers you were talking about earlier, like the more and more you start trusting them and they start opening up to you, you start opening up to them and they start to see the real you.
Yeah.
And why not instead put that foot forward first?
Ooh.
Instead of who you like want them to see.
Yeah.
So then like they'll know sooner and you'll know sooner if it'll work.
Yeah.
Because that's even some advice my therapist was giving me about dating. She was like, don't go into, like, you can have goals of being like, you know, I'm not just dating to date, I'm dating with intent of, you know, getting to know somebody and potentially being in a relationship. Like, I'm not just trying to hop around, which is fair.
Yeah.
Go into it with that. You can still go into it with that, but don't go into the date being like, oh my gosh, like, he could be the one, or like, you know, like, thinking of it romantically. Think of it more as a friendship first. Of being like, could I even be friends with you?
Yeah, because yeah, it's interesting because she says they go from lovers to best friends, but I agree. I feel like you should be best friends before you become lovers. It can work both ways.
It can work both ways.
But it is nice to know that you can be besties and like actually just enjoy each other's company without like the fun lover shit. Because that just gets in the way sometimes.
And it brings a lot of pressure too. Because, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the third date. Like, are we going to kiss? Like all of that, like, stress and worry. Yeah. When if you are doing it more from a friendly perspective, like, you'll grow to be like you'll want it, and you won't be like so nervous about it happening.
Yeah. And it could happen naturally.
Maybe. That's what I was looking for too.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. And that's all about just saying it's not natural to be unvulnerable in a relationship.
Right.
Like, why?
Right. I feel like it is that thing of ego and like you said, wanting to be perceived a certain way, and you're holding on. It's like, yeah.
For me, sometimes
it's not safe either sometimes.
Yeah.
To expose yourself too soon.
And I think sometimes, I know for me personally, it's because like I have all this stuff going on, and in my head, I'm like, I don't want them to see the stuff yet. So I'm like trying to block the stuff while also trying to like filter and like be in the moment and be present and present like this part of me. But in the back, like, there's all of this other shit going on. But it's like, it's too soon to expose you to all of that shit yet. Like, I don't know you like that. So it can be hard. It's a
dance.
It's definitely a dance. And it's also doable.
It is. It takes some practice. But I think that it comes naturally with the right person.
Right. Yeah. So once
kind of naturally. Because, again, it's unnatural.
It is unnatural.
To be exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that she mentions the fact that lifetime love bears everything.
Yeah.
To really be there for each other. The good, the bad, and the ridiculous.
Yeah, like she even talked about how when they would FaceTime their parents, and she would get all done up, make sure he looked good, and like he really wouldn't care. He's like,
that's a typical guy.
Yeah, typical guy. Which, guys, another thing that I was like, what? She was talking about how he like left the cupboards open whenever he'd go in the kitchen. Like, she knew he'd been in the kitchen because the cupboards were still open.
I've never heard of that one.
But apparently for guys, it's normal. Like, she asked his friends, and he was like, they were like, oh yeah, you gotta be prepared. Like, prepared for what?
Yeah, no, that made me laugh. But I was also like, y'all are what? Y'all are just being good friends because.
But it could be that like that's a normal man thing. I think it is. I've seen it happen. Like, guys just leaving shit open.
I guess. I don't know any men like that.
I don't either. I've seen it though, but like I don't personally know anybody like that. But it was that thing of there are things that are just very like guys are like, oh yeah, and us women are like, oh yeah, and they're like, and we're both like, what the fuck to each other.
That's real talk.
Because I think we talked about that a couple episodes back where we were like, for a woman, we're like, oh yeah, like that seems like common sense, and like vice versa, and then like. The disconnect sometimes.
There's definitely a disconnect. We have some differences.
Yes, but again, learning to not love, but live with.
What can you deal with? What can you not?
Yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love this chapter. Gosh, essay.
We got it next time, y'all.
We're gonna get it next time. But basically, the
comment essay if you've made it this far.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. But there's this quote that she says on 130. She's basically talking about like being your authentic self. And she says, okay, can you tell I barely tried with that one? Anyway, moral of the story, you can be mysterious with anyone. that isn't special. But showing the authentic you, that's reserved for the person who's earned your trust and is interested not in you up on that pedestal, but in the you that's down on the ground and in front of their face, which like wraps up our entire point. Like, just be yourself, be your authentic self. Don't try to just not be you, because at the end of the other thing is you're gonna have to live with that, because now that's what you've put forth, so now that's what they're going to expect.
Oh.
And I feel like if you really like them, like, you've just set yourself up for so much failure.
That's really tough. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's just hard to be in a relationship with a person as yourself.
Yeah. And like, I feel like you can't come back from that if you're like very vulnerable and honest and like, hey,
yeah,
I was really nervous. Da, 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 da. But then you could also get caught up in a lie, which leads like towards a whole. So that's why just be yourself, as hard as it may seem. And if there's just a point where you slip up and say something just because you're nervous, I've done that before.
I've done that.
And I'm like, shit, no, like, that's not the
like,
whole truth. Why did you say that?
I don't know why. I literally am just like, oh, I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. But then being able to come back and be like, hey, so I don't know why I said that. I think I was just really nervous, but this is how I actually feel.
We're always evolving. Mm-hmm. So you could have felt some type of way one moment and then you moved on and you've grown. Or you could have just said it wrong. Because sometimes your brain literally just said, like, I'll say something and I'm like, that's not even true. I don't know why I said that. Mm-hmm. That was anxiety.
Yeah.
Just came out. Mm-hmm. And, this is what's really the truth. Yeah. And it is kind of like awkward, but I think it happens to everybody.
Yeah. And I think if the other person can like accept that and be like, oh no, it's okay, thank you for telling me and being open and honest and then that's even a sign for you, like, oh, okay, all right, okay, point for
you. It's all a dance.
It is all a dance. But yeah, so I like that essay, and I'm very thankful that this was nothing like Elaine's love story.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the last chapter, because this one was a little shorter.
This one was a little shorter, but no, nothing like, because last chapter when we read that it was gonna be Corn Bay, we were like, oh God, love.
Oh yeah, we were like, a little
traumatized from Elaine. But the next essay is called "Black Girl Will Travel."
Love it.
Love it, because I want to travel some more.
Check me in.
So we catch me outside.
Yep.
How about that? Anywho, this has been another episode of She Well Read. I'm Alana.
I'm Samra.
And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.